me and my brother partied a lot. For him, it was that. It was a party. It was on the weekend. For me, it's on Monday, I'm looking for something. Start cutting at the age of 12. And that was my new release. That was my dopamine hit. They compare cutting with like opioid receptors and, because you're attacking the receptors that are dealing with pain, that are giving you comfort for pain because they've got to cover up the discomfort. I'm getting like death threats from other people. My roommate wants to kill me in my sleep. I'm hearing like screams at the end of the corridor. We're barely eating. They're like trying me on all this new medication. That moment where cocaine blessed my nostrils. Let's do this again and again and again until the bricks fall off. At this point, there's no off switch.
I can remember the first time I stayed up on cocaine for too long. When you walk outside and it's daylight, it's just so demoralizing. It's so just dread. It's dread.
I'm drunk. I'm high. I'm driving way too fast and I'm angry. And that big old ball of bad decisions at 65 miles per hour hits a brick mailbox.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be? Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Marianne Williamson.
But pretty much the concept is one of us puts these on our ears and the other person tries to mouth and to guess what the other one is saying.
1, 2, 3.
You ready? Juicy.
Juicy.
Good job. Erotic.
Curly white.
Erotic.
It's white.
Rude.
Rude.
Good job. Fake.
Fake.
Defiled.
Teeth out.
Defiled.
Keep out.
Giant.
You're gay.
Giant.
Gay.
Giant.
Sax.
Eye-watering. Eye-watering.
High-watered.
Eye-watering.
High purity.
12-inch.
More fish.
Okay.
All right, gotta know. What was some of those cards?
Eye-watering.
Eye-watering?
Yeah, that was the last one.
What is an eye-watering? Yeah, when's the last time you've done an eye water? Pass.
Giant.
Okay. That was probably where I said gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giant and gay, or giant gay. See the difference? Giant gay? Well, I feel like I have a stroke going on.
Yeah.
Defiled.
Defiled. What did I thought it was? What did I think it was?
I don't know what you thought.
Okay.
Something weird. Then there was, you got juicy.
I'm always juicy, so I feel like that's something I know.
Listen, you can't do that one because I know what it is.
Okay. Let's give you the phones.
Okay.
Grubby.
Crippling.
Grubby.
Creepy.
Grubby.
Creepy?
No. Illegal.
In your ear.
Illegal.
I don't know what the...
Illegal.
Move to the next one.
Humpy.
Open.
Humpy.
Up.
Humpy.
Up.
Humpy. Dry.
Try.
Yeah. Elaborate.
In and above ground pools. I don't know what
Tangy.
Stay.
Tangy.
Stink. Stank.
Tangy. Tangy.
No.
Soggy. Soggy.
Star.
Soggy.
No.
Okay. Here.
What was that one?
I feel like I used all my face.
You did.
Maybe I used too much face.
too much face.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was...
Last one was soggy.
Do it again. Do it. Say soggy regular.
Soggy.
All right, now say soggy like a crazy person.
Soggy.
Do soggy regular?
Soggy.
I don't know which one. I mean, I guess I'm used to
Maybe they're both wrong. Tangy.
tangy.
Yeah. Tangy.
Yeah, that would help maybe if you...
Maybe
Yeah.
little
Okay.
elaborate.
One more. Here.
All right.
Spiritual.
Machu Picchu.
Spiritual.
Pikachu.
Spiritual.
Spigabigaboo.
Beautiful.
Zaboomafoo.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Good job. Magical. Magical.
Bat stew.
No. Magical.
Batchoop.
Naked.
Tangy.
Naked.
Stanky.
Naked. Oh, that's weird. Awkward. Awkward.
Ower.
Awkward.
Hug.
Awkward.
Hogwarts.
Old. Old.
Horse.
Quiet. It's open.
Quack.
We
What
gotta
we
get,
got here, brother?
we gotta get better.
Miscommunication.
We gotta get better.
Okay.
I mean, I felt like you would have got awkward because you're
Awkward.
You're
yeah.
awkward. Yeah. Naked.
Oh, naked.
Naked. Touchy. Magical.
Is that what I thought was Hogwarts?
You thought awkward was Hogwarts.
Experienced.
Esperlanius.
Experienced.
Experience.
Whoa. Extreme.
Do it again.
Extreme.
X-rated.
Extreme.
Extreme.
Oh. Masculine. Masculine.
It sounds like you're saying bitch, but
That's like the opposite of that. That's funny. Chocolate covered.
chocolate covered.
Oh, that's quick. Squirtle.
Short.
Squirtle.
Short.
Squirtle. Squirtle. Squirtle.
I don't know.
Obese.
Homies.
Obese.
Homies. Okay.
All right. Last one was obese.
What did I think it was?
Homies.
That's close.
Before that was Squirtle.
I would have never got that. That's a name Pokemon card.
Well, maybe you ought to brush up on your Pokemans. It's a good run.
It was a good run. Welcome to Powerful Beyond Measure, a podcast about radical transformation, gritty stories, and the undeniable power of second chances. I'm your host, Matt Culp, a man in long-term recovery who believes in the power of grace, grit, and growth. This is episode 4 of podcast Powerful Beyond Measure, and this is our guest, Blake Hamill. Hey.
You hit it with the 3 G's, a little bit more gusto on it.
I did?
Yeah.
This is the hardest
Grace,
part.
grit, growth.
So what we do here, what my plan is usually what we do is we tell your story. So what it was like, what happened, and then what it's like now.
Okay.
So I'd like to kind of do that, but I would also like to maybe speak about what it's like being in faith-based recovery
Yeah.
versus 12-step recovery. And we'll kind of like,
Let's do it.
in the middle of that, I'll maybe ask questions or we'll spitball and kind of, I hate to use the word debate, but kind of debate.
Pick it apart. Do whatever you got to do.
Pick it apart.
Yeah.
No, more like,
No, I like dissect is what I mean by
Dissect.
pick it apart. Yeah.
yeah, where you're from, what's your name, how old are you, and then kind of when your addiction started.
Yeah. Most deaf. So yeah, my name is Blake Hamill. I'm from Murfreesboro, born and raised on the playground as Bear. Spent most of my days. I I gotta add a little bit of goofiness. I am what they call a silly goose.
You are that.
Yeah, I'm that. Unapologetically. Yeah, I'm from here. I always start my story off the same way, no matter who I'm with, letting them know that my background is with really supportive, loving families. It was always, I love you. Like we said that a lot in my family. Never had to worry about a meal. My dad was only unemployed once in my life, and he showed up and showed out to make sure he still provided. Like, never had a lack of growing up.
Okay.
Yeah. And when it came to my addiction, I'm often reminded that I was screwed up before I ever put a drink or drug in me. And so I always knew, the anxiety, depression was always there.
Okay. Why do you think you started by saying that your family was a Leave It to Beaver family kind of?
Big time. Yeah. Mom had the bleach blonde hair fluffed up, still does. Dad was always at my games, like Leave It to Beaver through and through.
Yeah.
We went to church every Wednesday and Sunday. Like, you come to our house, it was immaculate. To this day, my mom says her biggest regret is house was too clean. Like the standard was like on top. So Leave It to Beaver, 100%.
Yeah. Why do you think that's important for your story?
Well, so often people think if he's got a drug addiction, if he keeps falling off, his relapse proneness is like top tier. He must have come from a bad family. He must have been, traumatized in some way.
Yeah.
He must have been neglected. Some kind of abuse occurred, which in my case it didn't. And I like for people to know that, if that is something they can relate to,
Okay.
it can be our common ground.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you. Do you think it's nature nurture? Do you think it's DNA, like that you're different from birth?
Oh yeah, 100%. I
Okay.
grew up with a struggle.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that I'm physiologically different from birth.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Me and my brother, same upbringing. Me and my brother partied a lot, but for him, it was that. It was a party. It was on the weekend. For me, it's on Monday, I'm looking for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's real sad now is like I was talking to somebody this weekend. It's like fentanyl is like people die from being your brother, and like us drug addicts, we knew the risk,
Yeah.
But these people sometimes they don't know the risk of what's really going on. They're just using, whatever, high school, normal stuff, and then they're not with us anymore,
Gable's a lot heftier.
Cable's a lot heftier. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
So yeah, grew up in that type of household, which, being provided for was a great way to be brought up. I had a lot of godly biblical advice growing up. Grew up with the Veggie Tales, so I could sing a lot of songs to you right now. Spared the details, and it got it only got dark around age 12. Before then,
So puberty.
yeah, puberty hits. I feel like I've got a wave of insecurity, overstimulation, you name it. And I just feel like I've got to get out. Everywhere I go, I've got to get out. everywhere I am, there I am. So, start cutting at the age of 12. And that was my new release. That was my dopamine hit. They say that they compare cutting with like opioid receptors, and because you're attacking the receptors that are dealing with pain, that are giving you comfort for pain because they've got to cover up the discomfort. So that was my first, coupled with isolation, pornography. So I'm trying to find my escapes out of the skin I'm in, and it just got real dark real quick, and I didn't know what to do. All my friends are leaving me because I'm exhibiting these new behaviors, and I find myself as an outcast. Like that was the new identity, as outcast.
Yeah, black sheep.
So yeah, it gets real dark, and I go to a psychiatric ward, get out, do it again, get in a psychiatric ward, and to this day, I always tell parents that are dealing with their kid that they do admit their kid, like, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how would you gamble with the life of your adolescent son or daughter?
I've almost had to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be rough.
It is.
Yeah. And, but I'm telling you, when I was there, as rough as it is, it was nice. For the first time, I was around with like-minded people. So, we're kind of swapping stories of like, it's kind of dark, but like, I mutilate like this with this little object. And, oh yeah, me too. And yeah, I've tried to kill myself. And like, you're bonding over trauma and, your addiction. And for once I felt known. I didn't have to hide it. And so it was like being on what I coined, the island of misfit toys.
Okay.
Yeah. And I liked it so much at the end of my stay, I wanted to go back. So it wasn't much for me to like do another cry for help, and then I go back to a psychiatric ward. But the second time, I didn't know the whole deal with insurance, and insurance was not sending me back to Vanderbilt. They're sending me to a state-run facility, and the experience was a polar opposite.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah, I'm getting like death threats from other people. My roommate wants to kill me in my sleep. I'm hearing like screams at the end of the corridor. We're barely eating. They're like trying me on all this new medication, one that makes me like paralyzed because the side effects is wild. Yeah. And so when I got out, I was like, I'm just going to stuff this behavior deep down, and I'm just going to white knuckle it. And because I never want to go back there again. So, which, as we know, white knuckling doesn't attack the root of an issue.
No.
It just manifests into something else, or it goes right back. And which for me, I just got sneakier, and I diverted from cutting to drugs and alcohol. Funny little fact is, man, I don't know why I was so selfish righteous against drugs and alcohol, but for the longest time, I guess I was regurgitating what my dad told me, is like, dope is for dopes, like use those cheesy slogans as my mantra to combat peer pressure. But it finally dawned on me. I'm like, hey, why do I keep like attacking my friends, telling them they're losers for doing drugs when like I know I'm a loser? And so why am I not just joining people who do drugs? Because maybe I have a chance for feeling a little bit more in the crowd and at ease with my own skin.
This was conscience. That's the word. Yeah, this was thought out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was thought out. I mean, for a while I was like on the fence, off the fence of, do I smoke marijuana? Because I've become one of them, Okay. And, I hated marijuana, but I tried it. And then I smoked it again. And it wasn't really a big deal until like cocaine happened. And, that moment where cocaine blessed my nostrils, I had the thought of like, let's do this again and again and again until the bricks fall off,
Yeah.
It's
one of those things that you just chase and chase and chase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is part of me now.
That's why I didn't like it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it starts with cocaine really. Yeah, I knew I was different from the get-go when it came to chemical addiction. The first time it dawned on me, I was camping with some buddies. We were working at Fazoli's at the time, slinging that cheap Italian. And we were camping and we were all doing cocaine and drinking wine and having a good time. And it finally ended, and it's Monday and I'm calling up the guy who brought the cocaine. I'm like, hey, where's more? And he was like, man, why are you asking that? Why are you, like, the party's over. Why are you asking where the cocaine is? And in my mind, I'm like, why are you not? And it was at that moment I was like, oh, I'm kind of built different, which at this point, there's no off switch. There's no, let's just put that thought away. Let's put these desires away. Let's put my entire existence as it is now away. It's not an option, is it? So, it escalates. I found out pills were a whole lot easier to hide. And then,
and to get.
Yeah, they're really easy to get. I mean, work in construction, you find them in other people's medicine drawers and, all sorts of stuff.
How old were you then?
I think I'm about 19 at this age.
Okay.
So it just gets more and more complicated, as people would say. Man, I was a trash can when it came to drugs. I had to have these friends that would blow my mind of, like, when we're doing pills, they're like, man, what can you get? And I'm telling them I can get Opana, I can get morphine, I can get Roxy's. They're like, well, I'm only going to do Roxy's. And I'm like, you have that option? You can say no? Is that doable? And, because for me, I'm like, if I can, I would like to do all three, Yeah. Like,
I was always enthralled by people that could, like, I'm not this type of person, but, like, they could, like, have them all week, or, like, they hide them from themselves maybe, but, like, they still, like, keep pills, or, like, it's just not the way I operate. Like, whatever I buy, I do.
Yeah.
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 And then I go get more.
What was your hiding place?
I didn't hide anything.
You didn't hide anything? So
sometimes I would hide stuff, like, in my shirt right here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I'm doing is on my person, but my hiding place was always in this leather jacket in my closet, in, like, inner pocket.
I feel caught right now.
And it was my spot, and most of it was excess if I'm, like, selling.
Okay.
Because at the time I'm prescribed Adderall, Xanax, and Suboxone.
You're selling some of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Xanax was my come down. It was more of a tool, because me going to sleep is not a good time. Unless it's nighttime, then it's very welcomed.
I can remember the first time I stayed up on cocaine for, too long. And just, like, it's like when you walk outside and it's daylight, it's just so demoralizing. It's so just dread. It's dread. It's like, gosh, bless.
Yeah, I know how vampires feel.
It's not good.
The sun came up and I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to finish the day,
Yeah.
It sucks.
You got to keep going.
I've related to, have you ever seen Varsity Blues?
Mm-mm.
No.
Teach me. What are these blues you speak of?
It's a football movie. It's a high school, so you've seen it, or?
No, I know of it.
Oh, well, after they go out to the strip bar and they party, and their teacher is a stripper there. It's like a weird, but, like, they stay out all night, and then at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., they walk out. There's just, like, this, the sun's bright, and they're just like, oh,
Yeah,
it's
like
that
when you get out of a movie.
Yeah.
You had an epic experience in a movie, and then you have to go back to real life with the sun staring in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, 19's really about the first time I reach out for recovery. And so I think 19. What was happening at 19? Pretty sure I get into a really bad car wreck. So I was at a fraternity at the time, and it's a big long story. It always is. And end of the story is the most important. I'm drunk, I'm high, I'm driving way too fast, and I'm angry. And that big old ball of bad decisions at 65 miles per hour hits a brick mailbox, and then I flip my Jeep like 3 times, and then the entire Jeep crushes my arm against a tree for an hour. And so the paramedics have to get the jaws of life and somehow free my arm from the weight of the car and the tree without my arm being amputated. So I don't remember much. I remember for 1 second I was conscious and I was just yelling, thinking somebody is standing on top of me. Get off me. Like, get off. Like I need relief because my arm feels like it's about to, which it probably was, being crushed. They showed me the x-ray and it looks like little fragments of bone that they somehow, with the modern technology of modern medicine, take a titanium mesh and just fuse it all together. And I mean, I got it. I got my arm. So praise God.
That is awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
did you think you passed out from the shock, or they gave you something to like, hey, knock this dude out? Like,
I don't know, man. Honestly, I've only met one of the paramedics and it was in passing. So I really don't know what happened during all of that. I don't know. I mean, I was pretty high on drugs. I only had like 2 tall boys. But I don't remember flipping. I don't remember crushing to that sweet mailbox.
Were you mad at a girl?
No. People the night before stole my big old lockbox of cash and pills. I was partying with them and, I got stole from, which you do in those wild circles. And, I was pissed that the guy wasn't, trying to fess up. And, I'm basically mad at myself because I would do the same things, but I was mad because it's me on this side of the street.
How would they do that to me?
How would they do that to me? Because those are my pills. And that's my money. And,
And I'm really cool. Why would they do that?
Yeah. That's not cool. I thought we were friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I was very selfish at the time. So any light on me is, going to be the brightest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Unless it's me owning up my part.
We're not doing that.
We're not doing that. We're gonna weasel away. But after that big car wreck, I mean, I fractured my C1, C4 vertebrae. Your boy was in a neck brace for 6 months, like looking like a turtle. like just tried checking out girls with a neck brace. Hey,
girl.
I got some sympathy though.
Did you?
I will tell you that. I got some girls gave me some sympathy.
Okay.
So neck brace was a little effective. But I was also in this sling. I mean, they put, like I said, titanium mesh all through my arm. You can't see it because there's a bunch of tattoos, but big scar, going right here, and you can feel it right here. It's hard as titanium because it's titanium. And yeah, man, it was a wild wreck. My neck hurt so bad for a whole 6 months. We got through it. I got on a lot of pain meds. It's the first time I yelled at a doctor to give me more pain meds. So from then on, he put drug-seeking behavior. And later in life, I would tell him to keep that, because I wanted the accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the time, I go to some meetings, and, man, I'm just not serious. Life is this big mess. I have all these desires to just keep this thing going, but let's just tone it down. Let's try to figure out a recipe for the drugs I can do and the drugs I can't do. Okay.
Yeah.
So drugs I can do, any drug I get from a doctor. Drugs I can't do, all the drugs I get from a drug dealer.
That's a great, that's a great plan.
I think a lot of people have this plan. I just don't think they say it outright.
They definitely have this plan.
And you got to wash down those prescription drugs with alcohol. It's legal, right?
So you're on the legal thing.
Anything I feel shady doing is off limits. Anything that is justified with a doctor or legalization is cool.
Were you abusing them?
Yeah, you don't properly take prescription drugs with alcohol. And you don't properly take pills by snorting them or selling them.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
It's abuse.
I know.
Yeah. You also don't share it with people.
Can you say it for the ones in the back?
Yeah. Abusing your drugs is not taking as doctor recommends. Yeah. And if it says you take 2 every day, you can take 1.
And you can't snort them.
You can't snort them. You can't put them up your butt. You can't smoke them. You can't inject them.
Son of a bitch.
You can't dose people when they're not looking.
Oh, Bill Cosby.
So
you ever dose somebody when they're not looking?
There were some annoying people at a party. I would drop a Xanax.
Just hey, man, just be quiet for a minute.
Yeah, I would make them go to sleep. So, yeah.
I'm gonna be careful around you.
Hey, your boy isn't wielding Xanax anymore. So
I've been dosed before.
You have?
Yeah.
That's one of my worst nightmares.
It's happened in sobriety.
Oh, that's the nightmare. Tell me.
I can't tell you. It's a personal.
Okay. Well,
that's as much as I can tell you.
That's wild. And like my worst nightmare is someone like dropping acid or some freaking meth in a cup. And I go home and I just start wiling out, not in like a dangerous way, but like I can't go to sleep. And then I worry about getting drug tested and explaining myself in an over elaborate way. That sounds like a bad day.
You know, what actually happened was I didn't like it.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I felt like I didn't like it even before I knew that I didn't.
Do you know what it was?
Yeah, I know what it was.
Okay.
And I in the past would love it. So
yeah, you would. Yeah.
It was actually kind of a good thing. I mean, not that it happened, but.
Well, I can relate to that. I mean, it's like when you drink a caffeinated drink and it's like a red line and you think you're about to do 150 where it's like 300 and you weren't ready for it. It's a bad time. And I've been there.
Yeah. You're just like, can I go to sleep?
Please. Yeah. Is there an off switch?
I do have I can go to sleep on something like that. I've done so much cocaine before and it was too much. And I was uncomfortable.
Okay.
And I was able to go to sleep.
I could take about 4 Adderalls and just go take a nap. Yeah. I'm sure the sleep quality wasn't great. But anyways, like I said, the recovery wasn't stellar because it really wasn't recovery. And, I just got tired with nil results because I was not even putting in, half-mass efforts. So I just went right back out there. I never really had sobriety. I just fooled myself. And I hit like a really bad rock bottom. So it was Christmas Eve and my parents know I'm like, I've got a problem, a drug problem. But like most parents, they're like, well, he's got a drug problem. We're not really, he's not an alcoholic. We don't see him drinking to oblivion, maybe we can try a glass of wine. They want to be the nice parents, the cool parents, and like, let's share a glass of wine with my son. And so as a drug addict, I'm like, well, a glass of wine is just going to piss me off. Like I've got Evan Williams in the back and I've got 2 Xanax, couple of Roxy's. Like that'll be good. And
It's going to be real nice.
Yeah, it was until it wasn't. And so I black out. I think in my mind, I'd already finished the Evan Williams I'm going to go to my buddy's house. He probably had meth and more booze. And I'm going to go over there. We're just going to finish the night out. And I'm going to, yeah, I mean, that's as far as I can think. So I get into a fight with my parents. They know I'm sloshed. They're trying to keep me from leaving. I almost run my mom over with the car. I have to crawl out of my car because I guess I couldn't figure out the lock at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. And I pull a knife out on my dad. I think I punched the ceiling fan or something dramatic like that. And I fall asleep, in my bed. No recollection of what happened. It's Christmas morning. I wake up bright and early, bushy-tailed. Good morning, everybody. We have again, back to the Leave It to Beaver situation. Like, we have a grand Christmas. It's all planned out. My mom cooks an amazing meal. Whole family's involved. Not this Christmas. They're looking at me crazy. Like, do you remember what you did? I'm like, yeah, we had a couple of glasses of wine, watched Christmas Story. It was a good time. They're like, it was not a good time. And they proceeded to tell me what happened. And I'm just shocked and dismayed. And they kicked me out. And I'm just like, okay. I'm just whipping myself all the way to my buddy's house and have like the loneliest Christmas. So that's like one of the worst, right? Super shameful, super embarrassing, just dreadful memories of,
Where'd you go?
I went to the buddy's house that I was going to go get that alcohol from. And I'm sure I drank that night. I just felt sorry for myself and then got into a program shortly after.
Which program?
I went to Spring to Life.
Okay.
So it was a faith-based, still is a faith-based program out in Woodbury, 6 months.
But it was different then, right?
Much different. Yeah. Very small staff.
Non-clinical care.
No therapist whatsoever. It was by the seat of your pants. You're just going to read the Bible and, do recovery.
Did they take you to CR, stuff like that? Or is it
Yeah, they took us to CR.
Okay, in the church and stuff.
Mm-hmm. We went to church, had speakers, all that. And so during that time, I'm a little bit more invested in my recovery because now I have real consequences happening. This is probably the first time I've ever been kicked out of my house. So it made an impact. But I'm still holding on to reservations. Like, I can drink, I can use the light stuff maybe, but I get out after 6 months and didn't have anybody to shepherd me. So all I've got is buddies, right? And buddies fall off real quick if they're not serious buddies, which are few and far between.
Yeah.
Which I didn't have those because I probably wasn't a serious buddy myself. And so my boy is wielding a prescription to painkillers while using testosterone. And so he gets me like starting on my first steroid cycle. And now I'm using a whole lot of opioids, Now I'm learning how to cook them down in the oven and snort them up.
Freeze them. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Now I'm using a nice little pet egg.
Yeah.
This is the pet egg days with the OPs. And man, it got so expensive at this point. It got really bad. And then that escalates into now I'm doing crack. I'm in a crack house where one time I got held hostage in a crack house, and it was over something silly, man. This woman thought I stole her earring, which I could care less about. And she starts hitting me. And then she's got this guy in the back who's her I guess it was her nephew or something. And he's big dude. And like it's like gunpoint. Like, you're not leaving till this earring shows up. And I was like, I don't care about this earring. get me out of here. Go, yeah. I escape, or I don't know, get out of that situation somehow, go home, and man, I'm like, this is nuts. Like, I can't do this anymore. I can't. All drugs have to go. All drugs. You know, I've got to do this. But at this point, like, I try again. But this time I'm like getting, you know, when you get a sponsor and like he's checking the mark, but you're not doing what he says.
Yeah.
I get this. And so, you know, I get maybe 3 months. I don't even think I was counting at this point. 3 months sober. And I said, hey, I'm going to move in with this girl. We're going to Nashville. I'm going to start fresh. Like, I'm convinced that this plan is going to work. And he's like, well, wait. You're moving away. Like, at this point, I'm going to celebrate recovery meetings. He's like, you're going to move away from your meetings, from me, from your church, from your family, from your friends, while you're doing good, and you're going to isolate yourself in a new place in Nashville, bigger metropolis area, with this girl, which I don't know. Do you even know if you're going to have a future with her? And I'm like, no, but you know, basically she's the bill for getting out of a new town.
Yeah.
You know? And so kind of just tell him I'm doing me.
And you leave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's Nashville. I think I started drinking before I did. I think I knew that I was stubborn and I was going to go with this plan. And I was stubborn enough to just know it's a bad idea, but I'm going to keep going because it's too far in my mind. My pride won't let me stop this. I have this false sense of like, I'm a man now, and so I'm just going to make my own decisions.
Okay.
Not paying rent. I don't have a job. And, you know, it's fresh in my mind that I've said, maybe I can drink responsibly. You know, I will it into existence. I can drink responsibly. Didn't happen. You know, now I'm drinking every day. It escalates. I become a full-blown alcoholic. So 9 a.m. liquor store opens. I'm in there. I make sure I have $11.10 for that Tito's vodka every day. It's now daily. And I had become what I said I'd never be.
An alcoholic.
An alcoholic.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how that's worse than a drug addict.
I understand completely.
But in my mind, it was. And so it's now I'm on like a 3-month drunk. I'm at work. I'm stealing money. I'm using cocaine, you know, and I'm drinking every day, all day. Can't be without it. I'm getting the shakes when I'm not drinking. It's getting scary. People, you know, my parents, I think it's at some point would want to visit me or like maybe let's go on a trip. And I'm like, I can't. Now the alcohol has to go with me or I can't make these plans happen. Yeah.
Sad.
It is sad. And you know, any alcoholic knows like this is not going to end well. And it didn't, you know, I ended up finally getting caught stealing from my job. They came in with a couple of police officers, take me to the back, tell me, hey, we know you've been stealing. We have this nice little system set up that every time you delete a transaction, it flags it. And you've done it how many times? So at this point, fess up. And when I tell you, when I fessed up, I had the best feeling, followed by the worst feeling. So I'll first describe the best feeling. The best feeling, you know, the darkness always comes to light. And so at this point, it has. The jig's up. I don't have to hide anymore. I can finally tell someone what I've been doing because I've been living with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great feeling. Followed by an awful feeling. I mean, they have me sign this document saying you'll pay this back or prison. How do I do that? I haven't even been able to pay rent You know, everything's gone to the dope man. Everything's gone to the liquor store. I can't pay this back. It's nice in theory, but how is this going to work out logistically? And so, you know, I try to end my life. I got a big old scar on my arm for it. You know, I chicken out, and I know this is not the end. I knew God had a plan for me, but I think I'm trash. So I'm wrestling with this moment. Call out to Mommy Bear, and Mommy Bear says, not this time. Like you gotta go somewhere else. And, wide eyed, I'm like, oh, what now? I don't even know where I was. I was so drunk, bleeding out of my Honda Civic, Honda Accord, whatever. And my sponsor that I was politely pushing away comes and gets me. And I guess we just bandage up my arm. I'm drunk as a skunk. We go to Burger King. He feeds me food. I eat his food. And he finds me a place to stay. And man, like I'm going through withdrawal. I'm going through detox bad. He takes me to some dude's house, and this dude wasn't an alcoholic. He didn't know how to take care of me, and that's fine. He had a lot of love in his heart, so I'm grateful. So I just raid his house for any alcohol I can find. I found like some cooking wine and a limerita. So that was my last kiss goodbye to alcohol.
Went out with a bang, I see.
Yeah, not much of a bang, to be honest. Like a half-mast bang. And I knew I had some Xanax in my house. Again, Xanax was always a tool for me. And so I find, I think like a bar, and I just like take it over a week's time. And I didn't have a seizure or anything. I had a lot of discomfort, but anyways, I knew God spared me, because that was like, I don't know, doing it yourself is dangerous.
It is, yeah.
You know, the legal substance that's consumed by billions is the most dangerous. And so I get into a faith-based program, and man, I'm more homeless than I've ever been. I'm more broken down I've ever been. I'm the loneliest I've ever been. I'm age 25, and I feel the pressure of being enough, right? Like, which I've never amounted to. And now I'm in a rock and a hard place. So I reached out for help, and I had to wait 2 weeks to get into this program.
Because of bed availability, or because of
I don't know
their process, or
I want to say it was a little bit of both. So back then, I got this director of this program. His name is Derek. And I call him up, I tell him my story, tell him how desperate I am. And he says he's going to pray about it. And I thought that was crazy. I'm like, you know, I wasn't like pushing his buttons or anything, or, you know, saying I need in this program, but I was saying I need help, you know, and he's like, oh, I'll pray about it. And I was like, okay, well, and I really had no other options. Right. And so I asked him, like, well, how long is it going to be? He's like, oh, maybe a couple of days. You know, you got a place to stay? I'm like, I hope so. You know, I'm bouncing from like 2 different houses. And so, man, I did a lot of praying, watched all the Fast and Furious movies. And I just sweated out, and he got me a place in this program, which, I mean, before I was talking about state-run facility, this is like grant bed kind of ministry. It's just a house with guys in it. It's like basically you take a sober living house, but you make it real strict.
yeah,
No phone, can't smoke cigarettes, like no nicotine, can't get on the internet.
no secular.
Yeah, you're not
TV.
You have to get things approved, man. I had to get like Saving Private Ryan approved to watch it. That's what I'm dealing with. But at this rate,
Sure, it was drastic at first.
very drastic. but at the same time, like I'm like, I've got this arm just torn to threads. I have like one bag. I lost my job. I have nowhere to go. Like, I'm almost like I deserve this, you know? And you know me, I'm not a super silent guy, but for that first 30 days, I was a mute. Like,
Really?
not much to say, just a broken soul. Just maybe with a seed of faith that this might work out. And so, man, I in this place, you work a job while saving money and, you know, going through scripture, being held accountable, abiding by rules. Like, it's a lot. It's like Bible Bootcamp, but with a work program.
Yeah, that's a good way to explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bible boot camp.
And I started thriving there. Like, I really started, for the first time, letting somebody speak into my life. And that was the game changer in the moment, was trying to be silent, throwing away everything I knew and just being hungry.
Yeah.
I've had this false sense of accomplishment in my life because I've got these parents that will always fit the bill. I've got some form of intellect that allowed me to graduate college, right? But at the end of the day, I've got nothing to show for it, and I have no foundation.
Yeah.
You know, I'm entitled.
It's like all the tools, but no results.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what to do with that stuff. Like, I went through it, but how do I apply it? I don't have any bravery. I hide behind a pill. You know, like, I don't know how to be the person that I imagine myself to be. And so in this program, you know, their big thing was identity in Christ. And, you know, that was like something foreign to me. I'm like, the Bible is something that you just read, and Jesus is someone that you choose Team Jesus, and then you just live your life. But they're like, it's so much more than that. Like, it's a relationship. And, you know, Jesus, God, they're the ultimate authority. And so they tell you who you are. It's not you. And that blew my mind, because I've been listening to me a lot, because I live with me. And so we've been talking, and I decided to shut up a lot more and just start choosing to believe something different. Which is hard because, you know, you try to choose a different thought process. It's like two raccoons fighting over a banana. Now, which one wins? One day it's one raccoon, the other it's, you know, it's another. And I just had to keep laying down the same old narrative of like, I'm trash, I'm not enough, I'll never amount to anything. And then there's also sprinkled in like, I'm entitled this, this, and this. And like, I love the definition of humility of like not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. And finding just rock bottom was the best thing for me, because I think it forced me to say, this is not working. You've got to try someone else's way. And this director, Derek, he really cared about me, man. Like, he cared about my recovery, my well-being. He also cared that I got what I deserve. And when it came to discipline, like, he didn't shy away from it. I had this dude that hated my guts. He deliberately kept me in that room because he knew it was good for me. He was like, man, you're going to learn that not everybody likes you, and you're going to learn to be okay with it. I was like,
but can I move?
but can I, like, we're still in the same house. Like, can I just not sleep in the same room where he's yelling at me, you know? And man, he was a part of reconciliation with my dad, which, you know, God bless him for this. My dad, when I relapsed, and, you know, when I had to go sleep on some couches, my dad was done with me. And when I say done, like I've never seen him more ready to cut ties. And so I just invested in that. Like this is, I'll figure it out later. Maybe it will never be where it was. And I'll never forget it. So in this program, we got to go to the Preds game. The program got these like free tickets.
Yeah.
It was sweet. And before we get into Nashville, we show up at a Target, and we're all like, no one tells us what we're doing in this program. It's always TBA, 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 which to be announced, which pissed everybody off. And so we're pulled off in this Target, which wasn't uncommon because, it's a ministry. They might have been like getting a donation or something. And Derek's like, hey, we gotta do something first. And I see there's a car in the distance. And I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like my dad's car. And then like I see my dad get out of that car. And I'm just like holding back tears. And my dad hops into this big druggy buggy that we're all in. And we go to the Nashville Preds together. And like he organized that for me and my dad to get reunited. And like, he knew what it was like. And it was really cool to have somebody looking out for me in that way. In that program, man, I ended up like saving up that money to pay back the debt.
From the job?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's $1,500. So, not a ton of money now, but back then,
Yeah.
to a drug addict, like I couldn't save up $1,500.
Couldn't say 15.
Yeah, it's gone in a flash. And so I got to pay that back. And then in that program, man, I had my first encounter with the Holy Spirit. And I grew up incredibly skeptical, with an analytical mind. I'm always like breaking everything down,
Me too.
testing it.
Yeah.
And we go to this spiritual weekend, okay? And it's about as unorthodox as you can think. So
What's that mean? Oh, like Pentecost?
yeah, it's
Wild.
Pentecostal. And so people are praying in tongues and people are getting laid out. And when you get laid out, it's like you fall.
Hell yeah.
And people catch you, right?
Yeah.
So the wild stuff. No snake handling, but everything up to that point, right?
You got me. I'm
So
on board.
you got the picture. And so I'm here. I'm like, I just want to go to sleep. Can we wrap this night up with a prayer or something like that? Like I'm not really into this scene. And, the guy that was doing it was like, someone here does not believe. Come forth. I'm sure it wasn't that drastic. But in a way, he was like, I know someone here doesn't believe. All right, let's put it to the test. And I raised my hand because I'm like, he's not going to lay me out. Like, because if this is authentic, you can't really, like, I guess in my mind, lay someone out with the Holy Spirit if they don't believe. So I come forth. And he's like, let go. And he starts like blowing on my face. And I'm like, this is degrading. And then all of a sudden, you ever done acid?
I have.
When you get the hyenas, the little laughies?
The laughies?
Yeah, the laughy taffies. I get the laughies. And I
Okay.
start laughing hysterically. And then like he like blows on me or something. And then I fall over and someone catches me. And I'm like, I'm out of my body at this point. And it's just surreal. And then I get up, and then this is wild. So he does it again, but no one catches me. And I fall like a board. And I had no reflex. Like your body knows when it's falling and it catches it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't catch myself. I felt like a board. And I remember I felt no pain. And I'm just laying there laughing without a care in the world. I didn't care who saw me. I didn't care like what was happening tomorrow. I didn't care what happened yesterday. I was just like drunk, as they say, in the Holy Spirit. And it just blew my mind. And in that moment, I've never had anything like that happen again. Okay. It was a gift. And I thank God for it. But it taught me I'm wrong. At a deep molecular level, I'm wrong.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what's next. I don't know what's out there. I don't know the opportunities. And from then on, like, things start clicking. Like, it was like I had new eyes, new ears, and not like colors are vivid and
Yeah, I know
the schnozberries taste like schnozberries. It's like there's a newness in life, right? And I'm starting to have some wisdom. I'm starting to pray for wisdom. My church that I started going to while in the program, they go through a fast, and I go through the fast, and man, it blew my mind. I started like throwing away CDs and DVDs because it didn't glorify God. I started caring about the things that I've never cared about. I stopped wanting to hide things. I wanted to be honest with myself and others. It was a spiritual awakening. And, I started caring for others more. Mind you, I'm still, at my worst, a selfish person that, with my own issues, right? They still coincide. I'm not like this
pureness.
Billy Graham, made over. But man, things are new. And so I started like wanting to not give in to pornography and like lay that down, because that was something I was just like, this is normal. Like, this is just part of me. This is part of everybody.
Were you still in the program?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you find a way.
Really?
You find a way.
Okay.
Listen, if you can find a way in MacGyver something to get you high, you find a way.
Okay.
Okay.
I assumed, locked down,
Oh, it is locked down. Listen, you ever use a JCPenney catalog?
I have.
Okay.
I've used some weird stuff when I was young.
Listen, the most shameful was I used the back of a Christian CD. There's a pretty girl on there. Yeah. Not proud of that.
You said it on national television.
Midnight infomercials. Oh man. But no, I really started caring about all this. And like, there would come up like opportunities to break the rules. And I was like, no, I don't want to anymore. I really just don't want to. And, I don't know, man, just something really changed. And I started like getting it. I get out of the program. I got to have my grandma there to see me graduate. That was one of my things. Everybody's got their thing of why they leave early. My worry was my grandma's going to die before I get out of this. So.
Was it a real worry?
It was a reason in the back of my mind.
Okay.
If she gets sick, I'm leaving.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I would stuff it down. I'd pray about it. Like, it wasn't a thing that I was like in my front pocket. It was like,
yeah.
But it definitely meant something to me. But never happened. She saw me graduate. That was awesome. And so I get out of the program. I started working in recovery, in which, I dealt with all the doubts. I'm like 26. I'm a young chap who's going to listen to this guy, give him advice. And that didn't happen at all. Like, I put everything I could into recovery. I got a sponsor. I started going through the steps. I started sponsoring other people. Was passionate, man. Really passionate.
Yeah, people can feel it on you, and it doesn't matter how old you are.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have something they don't. No matter what. No matter how old you are, like at that moment, working in treatment or recovery, you have something they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That experience is invaluable, and it's a beautiful thing that, other people gravitate towards. And so at this time, I go through 1, 2, 3 step studies. And then, my first like real hardship in recovery happens. Andy gets pregnant, and the director of the program is dying. So didn't want kids. We even agreed on this, but we weren't careful enough. So kids happen.
I didn't know that. I thought y'all were planned.
No, we never planned.
This was before I met you, so I don't.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so she gets pregnant, and I think the response was like, "Hey, I'm pregnant," and I'm like, "I guess we're doing this." And that same gusto in my voice, I was like, "All right, here we go."
I mean, y'all were married, and you just didn't want kids, or y'all hadn't planned on it.
No, we didn't want kids. So my big worry is I'm going to have a kid with my similar issues.
Yeah.
You know, my idea is like at some point when we're ready, which would never have happened, we'll adopt, right?
Okay.
And so in my mind, I guess if I adopt, the kid's not going to go through addiction because he doesn't have my DNA.
There's other.
I know there's other DNA out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, you know, whatever. Like I said, I'm wrong about most things, so you know that's falling in line with that mindset. But you know, we have this kid, and then Derek passes away. So to give people that don't know me and Derek a little bit more emphasis, Derek and me got super close during the program, and we got even closer after the program. Because now he's not my authority. And so now I'm like, man, I'm calling you every day. I had him before I had a sponsor. So he was like my, you know,
mentor.
My mentor before the sponsor. And I would call him sometimes 3 times a day. I just loved talking to him. You know, he was just so willing to help me. You know, and when he started dying, like it was, I don't know, I shut down a little bit. I was in denial. We were all praying for him to be healed. And then in the hospital, like it's blatantly obvious he's not going to be healed on this side of earth. Like he's going to be healed on the next. And dude, I remember ugly crying. I remember just going to work the next day with sunglasses because I've been crying so much, like the deepest grief I've ever felt. And that was just so hard. Remember other guys from the program, because he was just that kind of guy that would like give himself away as so many people's mentor, father figure. And so many people fell off, you know, back to the alcohol or into the depression. And I was there for those guys. And, you know, I also knew I still had the temptation of like, man, like you could just give up in some way in this time and that's going to be okay. Because you can just throw it on grief, you know, because in the rooms, a lot of people that haven't relapsed sometimes say, well, I haven't found my reason to relapse.
They say that.
I've heard it a lot. It's usually from people that relapse. And, I don't know. I got through it, man. Just reached out to different people. I pivoted, you know, because now I've lost my go-to guy. Now I've got to find another guy, which I believe is God's way of just, you know, saying like, well done, my faithful servant. Now I'm going to put you onto someone else, because it's a blessing for sponsorship, right?
It is.
And so I got to believe that if I'm working the 12 steps, that 12-step promise of how you give it back and you get to keep this freedom, it's enacted with that relationship. And so I got to bless someone else by being their sponsee. And now I'm working the program even more so. You know,
it's not a marriage. It's not spiritually a marriage, but it is spiritually close.
It's intimate.
Yeah, it's because marriage is forever and sponsorship is not.
Yeah,
that's the only difference. I would say there's unconditional love. It's guidance. It's nurturing. It's spiritual bond for sure. It's something special.
It is. It's being known. It's vulnerability, but it's also growth tied into one. If you stick it out,
you also have to submit yourself to that person, because they can hold you accountable, but you're saying, I'm going to let this person hold me accountable, because you can hide anything. You can do whatever you want to do. You know, like, you're saying I'm willing to submit myself to this process, to this person to help me do this. Yeah,
exactly. And so I find a new sponsor, and man, it was great being able to pivot and overcome, persevere through some hardship. I think if you've gone past 1 year of sobriety, in your mind, you're like, what's going to be my first test?
Yeah.
A lot of us think it's going to be somebody asking us for drugs, but it's really,
No, it's not.
it's not that. It's really life hitting where it hits every single one of us.
Yeah. The second year of my recovery was the hardest year.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I was waiting for the shoe to drop or I wasn't prepared. It was for the shoe, like when it dropped. It was that first year. It's just like I'm climbing. Like I'm on this spiritual high. I'm kissing babies. I'm shaking hands. I'm like, everything's new. I have a new relationship with God. But then that second year, it seemed like life happened. And I guess I was prepared, long term, but I just wasn't as prepared as I thought of. The second year, just like, dang, I'm sober and I got to do life. Like that first year is just like, I'm sober, Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Then you're like, dang, dude, I got to do this forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then problems start to pile up on you. And you're like, all those things they told you to do, you're like, I don't really want to do those things anymore,
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're going to have to do them.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, the steps, that's something I already did. Yeah, but no, that's something you need to continue doing. And so, yeah, get through grief. And then to make the grief even more challenging, this program that I went to, that I graduated from, they reach out to me saying, we want you to take over this ministry because Derek was the lead. Now he's not here on this earth anymore. We want you to fill a spot.
That's an honor.
It was an honor. There was no thinking about it. It was like, okay.
Yeah, I remember when it happened. It was really it was right.
Yeah. And all the pieces fell into place. I mean, I went to this place unqualified for this position.
I wouldn't say that, but okay.
Yeah. I had a lot to learn. So if you want to talk about
Like administrative management.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. But
that I had entered into a residential manager position, done some reconciliation of credit cards, some light stuff. But being over an entire program was very foreign to me. And so I had some stuff to learn, while figuring out, what kind of notes and details he left behind, because he really didn't let anybody else do what he did.
Yeah.
And
But you watched him.
I did, but not as intimately as someone would job shadow with.
Yeah.
He wanted me to work there.
Yeah, but you learned what he did for you. You know
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? So, like, how do you emulate that?
Oh, the heart was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I thought I was a good fit for the job,
Yeah.
because you can't teach that.
You can't teach it.
You can't make someone care and all that. And so, yeah, I was bound and determined to make sure this program was everything it was, along with whatever I wanted it to be when I was a student. So,
Yeah.
get in here.
That's true.
I got to add a clinical component to this program, added a therapist. We provided them different jobs than what they were doing to give them a little bit more
Flexibility.
Yeah,
option.
flexibility. Also, I mean, back when I was in the program, it was hard to get everybody jobs because you have people with different backgrounds, felony backgrounds and such.
Age, background, just people.
Yeah.
Some people are old. Some,
Right.
Yeah.
Not everybody hangs with the same factory job. So threw a little bit something extra in there. Added some staff where we needed more staff. And then the next hardship happens. So, for me, the hardships that are the worst aren't the ones that are immediate, sudden jabs. It's the subtle jabs over time.
Mm-hmm.
And the subtle jab for me was my son is exhibiting some behaviors that I wasn't ready for. So I knew fatherhood was going to be hard, right? Anybody that becomes a father is scared.
Yeah.
If you say you ain't scared, I don't know. But he starts exhibiting behaviors that he's inconsolable. And I get multiple people say, hey, like, I notice your son's kind of like different, hinting to something. And I'll just kind of push that aside. And I'm like, we're just going through a phase. Like he's just, I guess this is just how he's going to be. I had one guy that said, hey, I think your son's got autism. And it pissed me off royally. But dying of myself a little bit, I said, like, let's really get him tested. And he gets tested and he has autism. And I'm just beside myself.
Wow.
Nobody wants their child to be different.
But they're so, I mean, at that moment, inconsolable, those things. But like, if there's a thing in the world, like, they're so like nice people. They're so, like,
Oh, I know it.
they're
Yeah.
kind.
He's super kind when he is. And when he's not, he's like, everybody kick rocks, get out of my house.
That's true. Yeah.
And so I watched a video with Brene Brown talking about vulnerability. And she's like, men process the unknown, depression and anxiety with usual anger and shutting down. And so in this time I shut down or I was angry.
Okay.
To a point where my wife was like, never knowing who she's coming home to. Is it Goofy Blake or is it Mad at the World Blake? And I finally, got to a place of acceptance where I'm like, this is it. This is just autism. Like, we will adapt and overcome. We're not going to like be able to get rid of his autism, but we'll learn how to deal with it. We'll learn how to make life beautiful with it. Like,
Yeah.
what other options do we have?
Yeah.
It's like my parents, with my difficulties. What other options did they have? Roll over and get upset, fight against it, or develop some tools and let's make the most of it.
Yeah.
So the mindset shifted. And so we get through that. We have another child, Isla. And then I get to a place of unrest. So I have my first temptation, like real temptation. And this hit probably at, I want to say year 7, year 8.
Okay.
So I think I got to a place of discontentment. I'm complacent. I'm at this point, I'm not really trusting God. I'm going through the motions. And if you live a spiritual life, sometimes this can happen, where you're not on guard. You're just kind of on autopilot. And it happened for about a month. And I got the perfect storm. I was mad at an employee, hurt my back. And I think I was just resentful, and I think they say that resentment is like the number one leading cause for relapse. I didn't talk to my sponsor about it. And I went to the doctor. He got it checked out. He's like, you're going to be okay. But in my mind, I knew that if I went to the ER, I'm going to get pain pills. So, it was cool. And I talked about earlier about having new desires. And so in this moment, I'm wrestling with two desires. Like, one, I'm going to get loaded and, chemically relieve myself from this anger, right?
Yeah.
I'd love that. I'd also love to expose myself so I don't get what I want in this moment. And so I call somebody up, didn't get an answer, call somebody else up, didn't get an answer, call somebody else. I call like 7 people. And I finally just tell a random buddy of mine, I want to go get pain pills, get loaded.
Did he know you were serious?
He did.
Okay.
He did know I was serious. Yeah. I don't say those kind of jokes. It's usually something offhanded, like me singing them a little ditty.
Yeah, okay.
Or me like pulling up the phone, like, who is this? Something offhand. it's never that. And so he was like, "Oh, stop what you're doing. Let's talk." And we talked about, why I wanted to get high, what was my plan. And he was like, "Talk to me and as soon as, while you get into your car and you drive off." And we did. And, it was nice. It was a really good experience because it reminded me of what can happen if I get off mission.
Yeah.
Because you hear about it. You hear about someone hitting 10 years, however long, and they start coasting. And then all of a sudden it smacks them in the face. And they're like, "I don't know what happened."
I think I find myself just like when those things are going on, I find myself just, I know what God wants from me, and I'm not doing it. I think, and I struggle with this thing between like grace and effort. Like for a long time I thought I had to earn God's love. And I've leaned more towards grace, but it's more self-love and God love, but it also puts me in a place of where sometimes I go, man, I don't really want to look at this right now. Like it's on the table, I know it's on the table. Just, hey, I just want to play with it for a little while. And I usually do the right thing, Yeah. I mean, I'm here, I'm sober,
Right.
And I'm spiritually okay, So, but sometimes in those circumstances, it seems like I've been far away. And sometimes I went about, I don't know how long, or maybe I don't want to say how long, but a long enough time that I just was unaware that my choices were, I was trying to control and manage, and I wasn't letting God control and manage. I was in the management business when I shouldn't have been. And other things in my life just started to materialize in a negative way. And then I look up in sunlight, and then I'm just like, I'm not okay,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think as long as in recovery, we're at a place where we can make a conscious effort to always get back into God's will, we're never going to be perfect,
No, never be perfect.
But I can acknowledge that me accepting grace into my life and my spiritual life has it's a blessing and a curse, because when I was an AA robot, I was more rigid, but I usually did the right thing quicker. And now, I don't know, it's somewhere between like what's right in here and what's right with God, and I have to figure that out, and it takes me a little bit longer, other than just being like, I'm going to do the right thing no matter what,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It's
I feel
like,
that.
it's like I have a good relationship. I have a better relationship with myself, and I have a better relationship with God, but it doesn't look as rigid sometimes, I have to be okay with myself,
Yeah. I think that's where balance
Balance is hard.
It's really hard because I have felt that. I have felt, like I've been several different people, of like screw everything and just do me. Obviously, I did that for a while, but
Yeah.
then I was like this rigid, you will follow the rules at all times. And I'm not going to have anyone around me unless they're following the rules at all times.
Yeah.
And, and that's like me or my way or the highway, and pushed a lot of people away that way.
Yeah. I've pushed people away in my life. I think I subconsciously push people away when I'm in that rigid state. Like, I'm so like, people can't even, I felt like at some point, 5-6 years into sobriety, people couldn't come up to me and like, without me being like, who's your sponsor? You got a home group? Like I was just, I'm not, or like people couldn't be around me unless they're walking straight,
Yeah. No. Yeah.
For about, what is it, October? About a year. No. About 10 months. I've been like really just okay with myself. And like I seem like I'm better. I feel like I'm better than I ever have been with myself, with God, and with other people. But some of that has made me put up boundaries around my life because I value myself a little more. And that hasn't went so well because in the past, I don't think I had as many boundaries. I was just really focused on myself and just, I don't know, it seemed like standing up for myself has went bad. But I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those people weren't with me anyways, you know?
Yeah. It's again, it's that balance of, how do we be lax, rigid, obedient,
Yeah.
compassionate.
It is a weird balance. Like when you start talking about obedience to God and then, like, and how do I have grace,
Right. How do I reach others without sounding like a self-righteous prick?
Yeah.
And that's anybody can fall into that category. And and so I got to a point where I was like, man, I got to do a reset. And so I went back to the fast.
Okay.
And so, I revisited a fast, and I got a little bit more intense with the fast. The first fast I did, no meats, no sweets, no secular media, just like focused on God for like a whole 40 days. In the way I'm describing it, sounds simple. It was really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard for anybody. Like you try to watch TV, that's like limited options to cheesy media. It's gotten a little better in the past years because they got the following, but yeah, this time I ramped it up. I like cut out caffeine. I ended up like really having like a specific material that I was reading for that 40 days. And man, there's like something about walking into a dependence with God that just brings out the best in you. It's a beautiful hard. It's a struggle that feels like you're going somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that put me right back on the right path. Kind of cleared my mind a little bit from the things like you said that I was trying to control, that I was trying to be too rigid on.
Yeah.
And that was a big blessing. And I went through the steps again. I think at this point I'd gone through the steps 3 times. And so I was like, I've got some stuff to work on. I've got some anger. I've got some control issues that are rearing their ugly head. And I don't like those. I don't like those one bit. I'm sober, but I've got the lack of emotional regulation going on. So I'm like kind of like steering into being a dry drunk, if that's the case.
Yeah.
And then no one wants to be that.
I think it's pretty cool. I just want to acknowledge the fact that like you're faith-based and Christ-centered recovery, and that you've worked the steps that many times, because I mean, it's kind of abnormal, correct?
For my sponsor, no. But if you're talking about the majority of people that do faith-based, yeah, I'll tell you with faith-based, there's a lot of ambiguity.
For the dumber audience.
Yeah, for the audience, yeah.
Not me.
I know. You know about it. So there's a lot of ambiguity when it comes to faith-based recovery.
No, what's ambiguity? Say that word again.
Ambiguity.
Okay. Define that word.
Ambiguous? Yeah, ambiguous.
Okay.
There's too many choices. There's not as much of a clear path.
Got it.
When it comes to it, I mean, you can have a sponsor, you can not have a sponsor. It's not as strict.
I didn't think about that.
You're not as strict about going through the steps. It's always encouraged. Like with Celebrate Recovery, it's always encouraged.
There's other forms of recovery too.
There is.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of people that choose faith-based recovery, they could like say, well, I'm just going to go to church and not drink. Which may work for a select few, but like for someone like me, I need the structure. And so Celebrate Recovery is, much more structured.
Structured, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I know I need as much help as I can get. I want to get as much growth as I can get. I want the best chance for success. I remember the first time I was told that, 10% of you are going to make it through this program. The 90% are going to relapse and continue this on and on. And I was like, man, I got to do everything I can to be that 10%.
Yeah.
The weight hit.
Yeah. I think it's a lower number than that, Blake. I don't think they were
it
lying
has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be. And so, yeah, I went through the steps again. And, I think I always try to tell people, like, getting into recovery and following Jesus and, doing the next right thing is going to be hard. It's going to be fulfilling and hard. And, I hit the last hardship, which I think we can't mull over, because this is like a clear explanation of how doing the next right thing, being in recovery, being sober, following Jesus, like, it's not going to come without hardships. It's not going to come out without life hitting you in the gut.
Yeah.
So we learned that my wife has a large brain tumor in her head. And where was I when this happened? I think I was at work and she called me and she's like, hey, I have a large brain tumor in my head. And time stopped. Could give a dang about any of the clients I was taking care of. Couldn't tell you anything but what's about to hit, what's about to happen. And, I just wrestled with that for a little bit. And, we had this long wait, so we couldn't get her brain surgery done for like 4 months. So imagine having a large tumor in your skull, pressing against your brainstem, causing a lot of issues like balance, blackouts, dizziness, nausea, migraines, and like you can't do anything about it for 4 months.
It's powerless.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun. It sounds terrible.
Yeah, the big waiting game was accompanied with prayer. A lot of me meeting up with her, like, hey, how are you doing? Like, where's your head at? With the same answers, obviously, but just having the check-in. And it's finally the big day. We go into brain surgery, and they prep us for 6 weeks, and she'll be right back. Before all this happened, I contacted your sponsor, and because he went through something like this, and I asked him what's to be expected, and he told me, he's like, I haven't been the same since. And so I was very thankful for his
truth.
Yeah,
even though it's not great.
I want it to hurt if it's true.
It's gonna hurt.
Because I don't want to be hurt with those gradual thuds over time of me sinking into this is real life. And so I want to know what I'm about to expect. And so that it just hits far beyond what we expected. She comes out of that surgery and she's throwing up. You guys can't see it, but there's like this lime green coming out of her mouth. And like I'm having to suck the vomit out with a tube because there's no nurses. And I'm yelling for the nurses. She can't see. She can barely sit out of the bed. And it's like that for a whole week. And, I'm like trying to like keep it together and like be there for her. And, weeks pass on by and she's really not improving much. She can't move. She can't move the right side of her face. She can't move her right arm, her right leg. And so she's learned to walk. She's now admitted into a physical rehab. And meanwhile, I'm asking, like, what? Is this normal? And they're giving me the answer where their face says, no, it's not. But they're like, yeah. And, they're in a corner. And so, man, it was like the hardest 6 months of my life, to where, you know, I'm like back at age 12 depression.
It sounds tough.
Yeah. I mean, I was working the program, going to meetings, reaching out to my sponsor, reaching out to people, taking care of the kids, going to work. And like, I just remember driving home some days and just screaming at the top of my lungs and asking God, like, why is this happening? And I couldn't cry. That was the thing.
No.
I couldn't cry. And like my wife would just ask me like, hey, have you cried yet? You know, like just a little bit, just a itty bit. I'm like, no, I got nothing. I just haven't cried. And, you know, it just, I'm so thankful for the program during this time. Thankful for my church. So many people reached out to help watch the kids, give us food, send us some gift cards. And, man, it was a rough time. And like, she started to gradually improve. You know, it started off in a walker, and then, you know, a couple months passed, it's a cane, and then it's a limp with the walk, and now it's a walk with a little bit of a limp. And so,
And she's driving.
yeah, she's driving. She's able to text people back on the phone. She can barely see her phone. She's working, and she's watching the kids. And yeah, man, it's one of those times where I literally had to use all the tools. In fact, I'll even like explain it in a more realistic way. It was one of the times where I had to be reminded what the tools should be.
Yeah, you don't even know what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, there ought to be something firing up there, but there's not much.
You're just gone
Yeah.
mentally. Yeah.
And I'm working in recovery, so mind you, I'm like trying to encourage people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're telling me about their problems, and part of me is like,
Get over it.
you have no idea, dude. And I'm trying not to make it about me, you know, like you don't want to do that.
Yeah. But inside.
Yeah, we all have, trust me, we all have issues. And it's like, oh, I got to go home to this, you know? And so, yeah, it was one of those times where that one time at the ER, should I not, having to call my buddy, this was 10 times more than that. You know, I didn't want to get drunk or high, but I wanted out. I wanted out. Like, I want to not be here because the struggle's so real. And, you know, I just had to keep reaching out. I had to keep praying. And, man, it was not, it was a good moment too. 'Cause like, I felt like in this time, I got to be more of a dad and a husband than I've ever been.
Yeah. You get to show up a lot.
Yeah. 'Cause it's either give in to the selfishness and say, screw it, and find some way to numb or incapacitate yourself, or show up more than you've ever showed up before.
Yeah. I'm proud of you for showing up.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that sucks that you're going through that.
Yeah.
I'm praying for your family.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's tough.
But I mean, and my sponsor says it a lot, you know, when I'm going through a hard time, he's like the scripture of, you know, God does good for all those that love him and are called according to his purpose. He says, like, in all these things will be added unto you. All things means all. And so, you know, in those moments, I had to remind myself, I'm like, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. And it was good. Like, there's been so many things that have been undone during that time. You know, like, I don't think most kids learn how to do things unless they're put into that situation without their mommy and daddy helping them. I had to be put into situations without anybody helping me.
Yeah.
You know, not without support and guidance, but I have to be the one to do it. Like no one can do it for me.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's kind of where recovery
shows up.
It really does. And like you have to think back to all the other endeavors that you got through.
Yeah, it's almost like the event where you had to call your friend were you at the ER or were you at the doctor?
I was at the doctor, but I wanted to go to the ER.
Yeah, it's like that scared you enough to get back and grind back in your recovery so that you're prepared for this. It's like you don't know what's going on. You know, you don't know what's coming down the line in a year, 2 years, you know.
Yeah. And I still don't know. Like we're still in it. Like she's still not able to use the right side of her mouth. You know, she still has dizzy spells, all that. Like this may be the new normal, but if anything else happens, like God is still good. And, you know, throughout all this time, I think the worst part of my thinking that, you know, that got the darkest was if she doesn't improve, is God still good?
You had to really think about it.
Well,
Sit
yeah.
with it.
I think most people that don't believe in God would say the reason is for all the stuff in this world that isn't good, that still exists.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm trying to give credibility to the Bible because, I mean, if you want to talk about God's goodness on his disciples, they all got like brutally murdered except for John.
Yeah. It wasn't a good time.
No, it wasn't a good time.
No.
But God did good through them. Like,
yeah.
What a blessing to be able to turn the world upside down. And, you know, God's done that already in my story to where, you know, I've had people that are like, you don't understand. And I'll tell them my story and they do understand because we've leveled the playing field. You know, we can relate. And I think it gives so much more weight to God developing my character. If I had gone through nothing, for me to be faithful to God has some credibility. But for me to go through really hard, trying times where I'm biting my fingernails off, I think that's where it speaks to other people.
It does. Yeah, for sure. No one wants to hear an easy story, you know?
Yeah, no one likes that. No one respects that. I don't. And so, you know, I mean, that's the glory of God. And like, I've been able to figure out who the true ones are in this time. Like the people that have stuck by my side and like checked in and like loved on me and, or even been able to just be with me and allow me to not be caretaker Blake.
Yeah, that's important for me in my life right now. You know, I got stuff going on. Everybody wants to talk about it. I'm like, and then I have a friend that he's going through like a major, well, something worse than, I don't want to put a label on worse or better, but worse than either of our stuff at the moment, you know? Mm-hmm. And I waited like, his wife passed. His fiance passed, was planning on getting married.
Oh.
So, you know, he's so bombarded, you know, I waited like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wouldn't want to talk about it all that, you know? So I just call him. I'm like, hey, like, this is my plan. We're not going to talk about this. Like, I want to know what you're doing other than this, you know? Mm-hmm. And we get in like, you know, 2-hour conversation about anything else, you know? And that seems to be an act, you know, better. Seems like I don't want to talk about my stuff all the time, you know?
It's an act of friendship where it gives reprieve.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Dude, like, let's play basketball or work out or like, let's not do this, you know?
Yeah. In fact, that's when we're working out. That's my agenda. It's just, let's just be friends.
Yeah. Let's not do the other stuff.
Yeah. Let's not. And, because it's so exhausting to have that narrative going on and to explain in vivid detail to every single person when you're already living it in between your ears on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do two things. One, well, three. I really appreciate you coming on.
Mm.
It's real vulnerable, and the story's really good. And so the second thing is I ask every guest, what's your deepest fear?
Mm. I already told you about somebody slipping into something in my drink. That's one, but it's not the deepest. I'll tell you what my deepest fear is, and I'll explain. So, deepest fear was visited when Andy was pregnant with our first child, Gavin, and she is at risk, and the doctor basically said, well, she's at risk, so there's a good chance she could die or the baby could die. And I remember just wrestling with that in my head. Again, God, if you're good, you'll keep my wife. And that was the narrative for a little bit. And then it shifted right before she had the child. And it turned into, God, my wife is not mine. My son is not mine. They're yours first. Your will is good. If they die, it's going to hurt like hell, but I'm going to be okay. And I tell you, man, like it's one of the most gut-wrenching forms of surrender I've had to do in the moment.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it feels like, not that I'm changing his will, but it feels like I'm allowing him to take them if he wants to.
Yeah.
Not that I have any say so.
Yeah.
But
you're submitting to him.
Yeah, that's the vulnerability of that surrender, of releasing my desire so that he can do what he ultimately knows what is best. Correct. But that was my worst fear is, now I'm back to being lonely and losing everything.
Yeah.
But, if I have God, like, am I losing everything?
No.
And revisiting that, you go back to the basics, first things first, and everything I have is his. So if I lose everything, it's ultimately his. It's not mine. And so we got to get that possessive mindset out of here, because that's what causes me to grip the control till the wheels fall off.
Third, can you pray?
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah, let's do it.
For you. For whatever you're going to pray for.
I'm going to do it, yeah.
Okay.
Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for this day, Lord. You allow us to go through some wild stuff. You allow us to do some wild stuff. And Lord, I just want to continue to pray for eyes to see and ears to hear, so that the distractions of life, the worries, the concerns, they get put in their place. Lord, I thank you for Matt, for his family, for me and my family, Lord, and what you're doing in our recoveries. Lord, you never waste a hurt. And Lord, you show that through mine and Matt's story, Lord, and countless others, Lord. Show other people their true worth in you. And I pray for those that are continuing to struggle, Lord. Help them to be woken up, to know there's another way out. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.